Hi, I'm CJ and this is my RC channel. In this series of videos I'm going to be unboxing and then building a Tamiya TT-02 type SRX. Now the reason that I'm doing this particular kit is that my club, or it's not mine, the club that I race on road with, which is a great bunch of guys, have introduced a new class, and that is based on the TT-02 chassis. You can do pretty much any mods you want. So the high-end 02, like the SRX here, which is their highest model, is legal to race, and you just have to use their motor and their speed controller. And other than that, 2S pack and a Tamiya body, one of the TT-02 class bodies. And so it's a nice easy class to get into, not very expensive. And the SRX is, with the exception of the plastic chassis itself, it is in line with a lot of higher end cars as far as its design and the adjustability of the suspension. Some of you may have seen my videos on the TT-01, the Euro truck class, which is a ton of fun. A lot of clubs race the Euro trucks. They're very inexpensive, around $120, $150 to get. And then all you need other than that is a radio. It comes with the speed controller and the motor and a set of tires, and one set of tires will last you a season easy. They decided to, they still have the truck class, but they wanted to have something a little faster, you know, more toward the sports car classes. And so this is what they went with. This kit's about $260. You need a servo and you need a speed controller, but it has the motor, and you need wheels, or at least tires, and NiCads. Probably need a set of wheels. Even if you don't, you might want to get a set of your own. And if your club races these, this is a great way to get started. If they don't, talk to them. Say, hey, have you considered adding this car, you know, creating a class for us to race these? They're inexpensive, and it's a great way to get people started into the hobby without too much of a financial burden. Anyway, let's go ahead and open this up, see what's in the box, and then get building. So here we go. Let's take a look inside the box. So let's just take a look here. Separately required items. You need a body, you need a transmitter, receiver, speed control, servo, so, and a motor. So there's our good old TT-02 chassis, which is very similar to the 01. Usual bags of parts. And we've got a lot of aluminum upgrades from the plastic stuff that we would normally see. A lot of blue anodized parts. Like our drive shaft, for example. And ball studs. And hex wrenches. We've got some carbon fiber parts. Actually, those are probably fiberglass. I think I may have some carbon upgrades for those, because I bought a few items for another version of these and didn't end up using it. So that's everything we got. We do have wheels but no tires. So And here's our bumper. Now there's a larger bumper that you can buy separately. It's maybe about this much larger, and that would allow you to cut it to the shape of the front of a car body. That might be a good thing to do. So, and I've got one of my favorite ProTech RC servos. This is the 106 SS. That's the super fast. And I've got my receiver for my Noble NB4. So I'm good to go. So the first thing to do here is get the directions out of here. Start taking a look around. Let's see what's in this bag. Can't be window masks because they don't give us a body here. Ah, just good old stickers. Nice. See, it looks very much like the TT-01 and the TT-02s, but you've got the goodies where it counts, like adjustable steering. We've got adjustable camber links, front and rear, so we can adjust camber. Caster's probably going to be fixed. We can adjust our toe. Looks good. And it's got full ball bearings. Just giving the directions a quick look-see. We have a front locker, so no front diff to assemble. We only got one diff to build, and that's for the rear. There's no center diff. Looks like we've got, I can't remember which company first came up with these. They called them pucks. They attach to the dog bone ends and make the connection a lot smoother, a lot quieter, more efficient. I see a gasket, so we should have a sealed rear diff, and we have fluid included for that. We don't have those little little ball end kind of things that hold the suspension together. And looks like we've got some adjustments as far as rear toe, camber, like you would see on a more professional race ready type of car. I think we only get those at one end because the one end here does not have any adjustability, and the other end has and I'm guessing that's going to be our rear. Yeah, we get the adjustment in the rear, so that's going to allow us to like add a little bit of anti-squat, change the amount of rear toe. We'll see how much flexibility we get in that. We've got dual CV joints at the front end for steering. That's very nice. And we've got the pucks on the out drives for both front and rear drive shafts, as well as the center drive shaft. That's going to make things really nice. I mean, this is just a few steps away from being a high-end on-road race car. We've got oil-filled shocks with dual seals. Nice. Now there are some upgrades that you can get, and I have a few of those. For example, the carbon fiber damper stays, as they call them. It's the rear shock mount. And got a aluminum steering assembly instead of the plastic parts. That'll be nice. And that also has ball bearings, so if they are using bushings on the steering, that's going to make it all the more adjustable. And they give us some tuning tips, motor positioning, and gearing. And we do have the ability to adjust our rear suspension, so we can adjust the toe angle, and it looks like we can adjust the anti-squat as well. They even give us a blank setup sheet. Hopefully there's one available online. If not, I'm gonna cut this out carefully and scan it. Maybe I'll take it into Photoshop and cover up white over all of the Japanese symbols, because I don't read that. It'll be a lot easier to work with it if it's just in English, at least for me. So, if you do get yourself one of these kits, I highly recommend that you spend a lot of time reading this section. Going over all the different tuning setups, things that you can change, and learn what the car is capable of doing as far as adjustments. Okay, I'm gonna get the first bag out and start putting stuff together. Okay, I'm getting ready to break in this motor. This is something you definitely want to do. I'm using a pair of just D-cell flashlight batteries and some connectors, and just some rubber bands and swizzle sticks to hold the batteries together. You want a low voltage, and basically I'm going to submerge the motor in water for 30 to 40 minutes, letting it run. Yes, underwater. Brushed motors can run fully submerged in water. The idea is to break in the brushes slowly. That's why the low voltage. Now, you want to make sure you're breaking it in the correct direction, the direction it's going to run. So, green and yellow, which is positive. Well, that's easy enough to tell. Just go to the documentation that comes with the speed control in the motor, and you'll see that yellow on the motor is positive, and blue or green is negative. In this case, it's green. So, yellow is our positive, green is plugged into the black and red cable, which is negative. So the motor is going to be braking in the correct direction. And that's all there is to it. Once it's done in the water, I'm going to spray it out with motor spray to get all the water out of it, and then I'm going to lubricate the bearings and a little bit of oil in here on the stator, and the motor's done and ready to go. Some people say you should repeat this process after every hour of running, which pretty much means after every race you need to pull the motor. That hasn't been my experience. I've never burnt out a motor running standard size batteries and standard speed controllers on any of these types of vehicles. But it's up to you. And, you know, I might do it every couple of races, you know, depending. We'll see. Anyway, definitely at the onset, though, you want to break in the brushes, because the brushes are going to have a flat surface, like a rectangular surface. And during this process, the water's gonna get all dirty. All the manufacturing gunk that was in the motor will get washed out of it, and those brushes will shape themselves to the curvature of the stator, getting a full and solid electrical contact, and that's what we want. So I'm not going to do this on camera. Basically, all I'm going to do is tuck this wire under the batteries here. That'll fire up the motor, and I'm going to submerge it in some water, and that's all there is to that. Okay, I got this assembled. I hope that I didn't not get this on camera. I apologize. I'm not sure. Okay, motor is all broken in and cleaned. Now I need to take a little bit of bearing oil. Just put a drop here on the bushing. Spin it a few times. Help work that in. Same thing at this end. It'd be a lot easier with a gear on here. And we want to put a few drops, or a drop on the stator. There we go. Motor's ready to go in. Okay, so now I need to lube up this gear and put the cover on. That should be more than enough. Any excess is just going to fly off onto the inner casing. Okay, I need a 4. This is our A trees. As you can see, A and part number 4. And I'm going to need the other A4 very soon, so I might as well cut that off the second A tree. They are both identical for front and rear. So this has been greased. Nothing else we need to do to it. It's pointing in the right direction. Gear on the left-hand side. That's left if you're looking rear to front. And I need 4 M3x10s. that's not a problem right now. One more. So, time to build the rear diff. And we are going to need parts from bag G. Unless they gave us some metal gears. Nope, those are numbered as G by whatever number. And we have the option of using this plastic star or using the aluminum pieces that they provide, which are notched to form that X. I'm going to use these pieces. That's just my choice. Then we have this bag, which has our seals and our various bushings and whatnot. This is a nice little diff. All the parts you would expect in a decent quality diff are here. Let's see, what do they provide us with for oil? 3,000. I'm not racing on carpet, I'm racing on asphalt. I think 3,000 is a little light. I'm going to build it with 7, which is still really light for an on-road car. I like to make sure that the gears are lubricated, preferably with the same weight of fluid that I'm going to be using in the diff. I'm actually starting out a little ahead right here. I should put in the first out drive into the case. That's ready to go. As long as I'm doing that, I'll do the second one, have them both ready. Okay, those are prepped. So I need bearing number 1. Doubling. Okay, there's a little slot here on the side. Looks like there's a couple, and they allow you to get this pin all the way to the bottom. So get your pin centered like so. Okay, now we need to fill it so it's just at the level of the X there. Maybe a little over. The trick is getting this to go into all the little holes and voids. So one of the things I do is I rotate the gears so they kind of, like little water wheels, draw the fluid down into all the little spots. I'm going to try and get some behind these gears here, into the voids on behind them. I press down the top of the X, I hold the out drive against the page or against my desktop, and then I rotate the case, and that makes all the gears turn. I think we're good there. I think once it settles, it'll be right where we need it. So, time for our last bearing from this batch.
Sorry, guys. Is this the right size wrench? I think it is. Just FYI, this is a 1.5 millimeter wrench, and you're going to need one. A lot of tool sets only come with 2 millimeter, 2.5, and 3 millimeter wrenches, so bear that in mind when you start assembling this and you find you don't have a 1.5. Suppose you could use a little hand tool if you there may be one that comes in the kit somewhere. I don't know if they provide any Allen wrenches. That is odd. I'm not getting any rotation. There we go. Guessing those gears need to break in a bit. I wonder if those little oh, let's just leave it how they built it. Just kind of work it in. First run should do that. Don't really like that. It may have been a little too full of grease, and I may have just clamped down on that gasket a little too hard. That's a much better movement. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so we need this on our right hand side, and